museum.
Oh yeah, museum.
And we're also going to see some other stuff.
Yeah, the Titanic. I don't know how many years ago, but the Titanic sank. Oh my goodness. Now let's go.
Alright guys, so we're gonna see you at the Titanic Museum
Yeah.
in a few minutes. Bye!
Yeah.
Museum!
Of course, I always forget that. Today, we're look at this massive Titanic.
That's not Titanic.
I know. They just found a place.
That big building over there is the museum.
Ooh, we're gonna see what the Titanic looks like and the museum. But look at the view!
Yeah, we're in Belfast. It's so windy. And look at that mountain over there.
I know, that's like a bunch of houses. And look at those windows. There's like a box next to the window. That's awkward. Isn't it? There's like a box under that window. Zoom in, you will see your box.
Alright guys, we're going to see you guys in the Titanic Museum. Bye!
Bye. Okay, guys, we're at the Titanic Museum. Look at the view.
I know, guys. And the Titanic Museum is like so huge, you know?
And don't forget, there's a gift shop, and I love the gift shops.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the gift shop after.
Yeah,
So we're gonna show you guys a tour.
of
And
the museum.
yeah, and it's gonna be really fun. So see you in a couple of minutes.
Me,
Bye.
a couple of minutes. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Peace. This guys is in the museum. Look at all of this. Look at how people walking.
Okay.
And now the largest. Look at them, growing before your eyes, right there on the river. We couldn't do that without continuity, one generation to the next. My dad was here in the yard before me, and my granddad before him. For the Irish in Dublin, with Irish issues, for each part of
Luxury, James. That's marked the White Star Line. Luxury and elegance. The better sort expected. Most of these people finds it. And that's why they're going to build them bigger still. Did you hear that, James? Over dinner, before the gentleman retired to talk, His lordship was talking about the largest dry dock in Belfast. Enormous gantries. A dry dock built for a ship that hadn't even been built yet. The footman here is in service. Keep it to himself, James. Sorry, Mr. Harrison. They didn't say anything precise. I was merely speculating. You may have speculated more accurately than you realised. I did. I, of course, was privileged to accompany the gentleman to the smoking room. They are indeed proposing a new generation of ocean liners. Big ships, Mr. Harrison. Largest and most luxurious ever. Not so fast. That's another day done, James.
Another long day indeed. They went on talking late tonight.
Great affairs, James. Great affairs.
Always that way when Mr. Ishmael dined with his lordship.
It's the waves.
I hear cooline is faster now.
Natural speed, James. Not for Mr. Ismay's passenger. James, you don't you have time on hands? Oh, we have none of that talk here. Sorry, Mr. Harrison, a fair one. What's so special about Mr. Ishmael's ships?
What's the next
Luxury, James. That's the mark of the White Star Line. Luxury and elegance. Where's the sort expected? It's a bit fight. And that's how they're going to build them bigger still. Did you hear that, James? Over dinner. Before the gentleman had time to talk, his lordship was talking about the largest Another day done, James. Another long day indeed. They were on talking late tonight. Great affairs, James.
Brothers after me. You could hear the noise from where we lived, but nothing prepared you for the size of the place. They put me to work on 401. That's what we called her. The new ship be the largest passenger ship in the world. We didn't call her Titanic then. I was there from the beginning. I watched the ship race lay the keel blocks. They set big wooden blocks on the slipway to start with. Then the keel at top of it, like a backbone, and the frames attached to that, like a skeleton. Workshops everywhere. It took weeks to find your way around. There'd be workshops for every trade you ever heard of. Painters, sailmakers, coppersmiths, boiler makers, cabinet makers. I even learned a bit about French polishing off them. Harlowers was a fine place to work, but dangerous. Every ship cost a life, and there'd be lots of injuries besides. I was in the engine works for a while. Very well equipped it was. That's where we built the triple expansion engines. 2 of them, each as high as a 3-story house. I worked in the frame bending shop. You'd heat steel beams in the furnace, then hook them onto slabs of cast iron and hammer them curved. It was skilled work. You had to bend them more than you needed because the frame straightened out a little when it cooled. Shell plates that made up the hull weighed up to 4.5 tons. They were taller than the da. The plates were overlapped on the edges. Some were raised, one after another. We called it clincher. One of the foremen taught me years ago. That's how you built steel ships.
I worked as a heater boy. You had to heat the rivets on a wee plate. You pump the bellows till the rivet was white hot. Then you get a hold of it with your tongs and throw it up to the catcher. And he put it in the hole in the plate with the holder up.
There were 2 of us on the other side of the plate with the holder up. We had to hammer the rivet so it filled the hole before it turned dull red.
The double bottom. That's a wee space we called the tanks, made up of steel plates. The rest of the rivet squad all had to fit into that gap.
One of the foremen would check each rivet with a special hammer. If it made a ringing sound, we'd have to go back and chase it out after work.
I'd get scared working down in that double bottom. You only had candles for light.
And the constant hammering against the shell plates. You could hear it all over Belfast. Some of those boys ended up stone deaf, so they did. We were paid 31 bob a week. The heater boy and catchword at 16 bob. But we all worked the same 54 hours.
The upper deck was steel too, and part of the strength of the ship. There's no straight lines in a ship, and when you look down the weather deck, you can see the shear of the hull, but stopped her flexion at sea.
The stern frame had to be strong enough to take the rudder turning in heavy seas. You'd have all these timbers and guy wires to steady the frame, and men scurrying around like ants underneath.
When we came to launch day, I was torn between pride and fear. The standing ways were coated in tallow, train oil and soft soap. So the ship would slide when they shifted her weight off the blocks. That was the most dangerous part. When the shipwrights were knocking away the last props, they were under compression, you see, and the sliding ways would be released by the hydraulic trigger.
100,000 people watched the launch. Some paid a bob to sit in the reserved seating. There were extra trams laid on. Then we all went off to the pub to wish her well.
Doc, you were proud to be an island man that day. And Titanic was the pride of Belfast.
Thank you for joining us. The tour will end in our bar. The rudder was built with 6 steel sections. The rudder frames had to be enormously strong to withstand the force of the rudder.
With that. The rudder was moved by the steering gear, which was powered by 2 engines. The rudder was moved by the steering gear, which was powered by the 2 engines. Oh my goodness, low man. Blaming the keel. The keel is the backbone of a ship. Titanic's keel was 6 foot high, ran the length of the ship and carried the frames for the steel hull plate. That's cool. Oh my god!
These were led to the person inside the ship. The angle of this was very hard.
Along the hull were the steel frames that made up the skeleton of the ship. The frames were curved to give the hull its shape and were positioned between 2 and 3 feet apart. The ship's frames started out as straight bars. These were heated in a furnace, then hooked out onto slabs of cast iron, where they were hammered into the required shape against an iron mould. The frames tended to straighten slightly as they cooled, so the frame benders gave it a little more curve than needed and hammered it into the finished shape before it was too cool to bend.
Hello.
Lowering the frames into place was a dangerous process until they had been firmly joined up by the horizontal girders called stringers, which locked them into position. Then the shell plates that made up the hull were riveted onto the outside.
In 1911, launched 10 vessels. Harland and Wolff launched 10 vessels, including Titanic. Oh my goodness! Oh my god!
These were led to the first
We're almost finished on the museum right now, so yep. Look at the view. That's the line. Huge view about that massive boat, and we have another one over here.
Spectators here who have seen the finest sight in all of Belfast.
train must be ready. First passengers arrived. The train for London. By late morning, all the passengers and crew were aboard, minus 2 firemen who were delayed from the house since the departure. At noon on April 10th, bang on time, and fully expecting to be in New York within a few days, the Titanic sounded her whistle and cast off her lines. Titanic's launch in May 1911 was watched by an estimated 100,000 people. Almost a year of fitting out followed, transforming the massive hull into a sumptuously appointed liner described by the White Star Line as a queen of the ocean. By March 1912, Titanic was ready for her maiden voyage. For Belfast, the triumphant culmination of many years' planning and labor. Before she could be handed over, Titanic had to undergo sea trials. On the 2nd of April 1912, she carried out a series of maneuvers in open water, under the watchful eye of Board of Trade Inspector Francis Carruthers. Then, at 8 p.m. that evening, she departed Belfast for Southampton. She was preceded by a considerable weight of expectation. At Southampton, the White Star Line had already constructed the massive deep-water ocean dock, covering almost 16 acres and dredged to a depth of 40 feet. England's premier passenger port was flourishing, with new shops, restaurants, and businesses opening to service the growing passenger traffic. And job opportunities on the ship and the docks brought migrants from all over Britain and Ireland. Almost 400 of Titanic's crew lived in Southampton's northern district. A national coal strike had left several ships laid up in dock, and the prospect of a job on Titanic a welcome relief for crewmen who managed to sign up. On April 5th, Titanic was dressed in her signal flags and pennants, a good flagging tribute to the people of Southampton's good welcome. And by April 10th, the ship had been fully provisioned, including 75,000 pounds of fresh meat, 40,000 eggs, 100,000 sweetbreads, and 1,000 cigars.
should. 1912, Belfast was one of the world's most important shipbuilding centers. Belfast's reputation for building the finest earned Harland and Wolff and their rivals Workman Clark the accolades. Voyage. After successfully completing her sea trial in Belfast, Titanic set sail for Southampton shortly after 8 p.m. on 2 April 1912. On her delivery voyage through the Irish Sea and English Channel to Southampton, Titanic recorded a speed of 23 knots, approx 26 miles per hour, the highest speed she would ever attain. I cannot read that. So dear something. Blah 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 blah. I don't know how to read it.
That is so hard to read. Hey, what's up, dude?
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Nothing at all, just a mere... No, nothing. We just hit an iceberg.
It wasn't long before Boxall, fourth officer, poked his head round my door and said, "You know we struck an iceberg." "I know you struck something," I told him, not thinking it anything serious and feeling none too pleased. Then he said, "The water's up to F deck in the mail room."
It was about midnight when I became aware that there was no hope of the Titanic remaining afloat. The lifeboats were bending in order as quickly as possible with women and children. When concentrating back on the deck, the last boat was being filled, and I was the last one to get onto it. The water was by this time growing on a level with the deck, from which the boats were being lowered.
Now, between lowering one boat at another, I frequently took a run forward and a quick look down the long stairway that led from the boat deck 3 or 4 decks down. Frankly, I'm never likely to forget the sight of that cold, greenish water creeping step by step up that stairway.
The ship was now sinking fast, but the captain left us for a time.
10 inches of water on this thing, and our feet were in the water all the time. We saw hundreds in the water, but they were not crying for help. They might have been unconscious. They might have been dead. We could not say to that. After that, what did you do?
I saw the light to the Carpathia. I said, "It is all right now, ladies. Do not grieve. We are picked up. Now, gentlemen, see what you can do in pulling these oars for this light." you look down the staircase towards the bottom of the ship, did you see the water?
Yes. It was on the deck. And our feet were in the water.
Is it the case that you could only see 3 people in the water?
Oh, we saw hundreds in the water, but they were not crying for help. They might have been unconscious. They might have been dead. We cannot say to that.
After that, what did you do?
I saw the light of the Carpathian. I said, it is all right now, ladies. Do not grieve. We are people. No matter. See what you can do in pulling these horses.
Now we're looking back down the anchor chains. Unbelievable. It's pretty cool, huh? That's a strange box lying there. A heater. From first class. It's fallen out of place. You'd only get third class in this part of the ship. Hang on, I'll go in close. It's so ornate. Here's a cargo crane. Hard to get the scale. The base would be about 10 feet high. You can see the boom where it would be stored flat on the deck.
We saw that Mohawk. His name is Mohawk. cents.
Want to get that hat, Harry?
Hi guys, I got massive. We're at the gift shop right now, so y'all.
Yeah, guys, we're in the gift shop. Do you like the gift shop, John?
Yes, I love the gift shops. Look, I got a globe and I think I want a pen. Will I get a pen? No.
Yes, we. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the tour of the Titanic Museum.
So see you guys
Next time. Bye.